check this thing out. This is the old Chevy Captiva. It's a 2014 model. It's equipped with a 2.4 liter GM inline 4-cylinder. Not very dissimilar from the 1.5 liter in that red Malibu over there that's blown up. A little bit bigger motor, and there's no turbo on this one, but overall similar design. Now this vehicle right here came in, customer stated that it gets extremely hot between 219 degrees after 5 to 10 minutes of running, and the thing overheats. Now I think this has been worked on a couple times, and we're going to get to that in a second. We've got the exhaust taken off because we had a bunch of catalytic converter codes. It was super low on oil, which is what these Ecotechs do, due to piston rings and carbon. But I had a little bit of a leak in a radiator, and someone needs to learn how to spell leak. There's an A in there, not an E, but that's okay. I won't embarrass you too much on the internet. I got a list of codes here. Most importantly is that P420 code. That's a catalytic converter inefficiency. Got a P171, that's an engine running lean code, and these other two I do not have to memory. So the engine's not running that great. The cats are not happy, and it overheats something fierce. Now, what we had found is when we started this from a cold start, it was in fact overheating very quickly. Now, the cooling system was functional, the fans were running. I had differential pressure between the radiator hoses, the upper and the lower. That means that the radiator does have flow and that it is actually cooling. If the temperature going into the radiator is 200 degrees, the temperature coming out of the radiator is 200 degrees. That means it's not cooling. So you have an airflow problem, or you have a like a fluid flow problem through the actual radiator itself. So after we determined that the radiator was just fine, I came around back here. Now this was not on the rack. I actually missed what I'm about to show you. I came behind the vehicle when it was on the ground, and we felt no tailpipe emissions coming out whatsoever. You'd rev the motor up and it was just almost nothing happening right there. So I was like, okay, so we got some cat converter codes and we've got no flow out of the exhaust. Well, the primary restrictor inside of an exhaust is going to be the cat converter. I got a good one over here. I'll show you what's inside. I know a lot of us already know, but for the uninitiated, we need to know. So if we look inside of this converter, we're going to see some light on the subject. You're going to see that honeycomb looking filter business right there, okay? Now that's the catalyst bed. All that material inside, think of that like a big bunch of straws. You know, about like a pack of drinking straws. Think of that like a pack of drinking straws jammed inside. You see a little bit of light coming through. Each one of those packs, or each one of those straws, is the length of the converter. So there's a lot of space and a lot of surface area that is coated with like platinum, rhodium, palladium, and a couple other metals. And those metals provide the catalyst effect to change the exhaust from one chemical compound to another chemical compound as it passes through. That's why it's so thick and why there's so much restriction in there. Now the OEMs say that they don't restrict the exhaust to cause performance loss. That's debatable. That's not what we're here for today. So we're not going to talk about that. But I had assumed that since there was no tailpipe emissions and we had some Cat 420 codes along with the 171 lean code, 99.999% of the time, that's due to a clogged catalytic converter, okay? So we ordered a Cat, came in the box, I got it over here, I'll show it to you in a second, you're gonna love this. We took the old one out, and let me show you what we found inside of the old converter. This is the one we just took off the vehicle. And going in the hole, look what we see in there. Nada, zero, zip, zilch, nothing. There's nothing inside of this converter. Just some little scrapelets or pebblets or whatever, little granules of core material that's left over inside. That's all that's inside of this unit. So I was like, oh dang, okay. Well, that converter broke apart and passed through, so let's go over here to the other converter. So I come over here to the other converter and I look in the hole. There's no core, nothing, it's empty. That one's also broken away or cored out, or it's been removed. I kind of think someone cored these out on purpose, and I think they were doing it to try to fix the overheating problem, because I think that whoever tried to look at this before me came to the same conclusion, and I think they, instead of buying a converter, they chopped this one off, disconnected it right here, and then broke out all the core material from the back side on of the front converter. This is the upstream, that's the downstream. I then believe that they disconnected this flange right here and cored out, or I suspect that they cored out this one as well, probably to fix the exhaust restriction and to fix the 171 engine running lean code. So after I realized that, hey, there's no core in this one, I figured maybe whoever touched it last, maybe nobody did, maybe, just maybe, they didn't do all that, and perhaps the converters broke apart and made their way into the muffler. So let's check that real quick. I'm gonna get out, where's Mrs. Jiggles at? There she is. I need Mrs. Jiggles for this one. Got the boroscope, little camera on a stick. It's got this cool little wheel on it right here. You can operate the oscillating side there, change your angle for your dangle. So let's run this thing down into that muffler and see what we can see, if anything. So this thing can hang out like, whoa, don't fall. This is a new tool, I don't want to break it. Okay, we'll just put it right here. Not the greatest, but it'll work. So we're gonna take this guy, I'm gonna drive it all the way down the shaft. There we go, going in. I'm gonna have to move this camera, that's not gonna work. So here, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hold this where you guys can see it, and I can operate the business end of it here. We're gonna drive this thing down into that pipe. Are you ready? Glare. Hang on, bear with me, I'm trying to get rid of the glare here. My flashlight behind us is messing me all up. Alright, going in. There's the pipe. We're passing through right around this area right here. Still going in. All right, we're in the muffler. See those little perforated edges, left and right? There's packing material on the other side of that that absorbs the sound. So keep on going. Looking to the right. Okay, there's the wall. Turn into the right. We're inside of the muffler right now, right in front of us. The camera is right here in that area right there. But looking inside on that cam, I don't see any packing material inside of this muffler right here. Now, naturally, I can't see through the holes, but what we do see, that's the packing material. See all that right there? Oh yeah, good view. Yeah, it's a bunch of fiberglass wrapped around this hollow tube right here, and that's what absorbs some sound in the unit, okay? So I had thought that perhaps all that converter material was just lodged in the muffler somewhere. So I'm like, all right, well, I banged on it. I don't hear anything rattling in there. So maybe it passed through. Maybe it's in the second muffler. So I come over here, we're gonna inspect this second muffler. I'll look in there with a boroscope in a second, but let me show you what I saw. That, right there. See that? That is one heck of a restriction, I must say. Look at that. It's bent right here, it's bent right here. And the reason it's bent is because this vehicle has suffered a rear end collision. And we can tell right there, because the crumple zone is super duper crumply. So this thing's been wrecked before. It got rear-ended. A body shop, a reputable body shop, never fixed it. They just slapped a bumper on the back of it. We got a new bumper cover back here. So it looks like I wasn't the first person to miss this situation right here, but I now need to determine if this pipe right here is full of cat converter material, which I don't think it is, or, yeah, that's empty. Nothing in there. Yeah, that's empty. So what I think happened is somebody, especially after banging on this, I could cut it open, but I don't want to. Maybe I'll drill a hole in it. I could do that. Regardless, this needs to be cut off or replaced. Probably have to go to the junkyard to get one. I found this muffler available, but it only has the turn down, like down to this far. It does not have this piece right here, and this is the piece that I'm gonna need to fix this. So we're overheating, and we've got a P171 code because exhaust is not going out, which means the engine's just regurgitating on its own exhaust. And we've got the P420 code because some yo-hole decided to take the core out of this. This is why you shouldn't be working on things if you don't know what you're doing, because that's not how that works. And I do believe that will solve the overheating. Now, it gets even worse. It gets way worse. Let me take you over to the part real quick that we took out of the box. Brand new part. Got the box right here. It's a Walker part. So we've got our new unit right here. It's a Walker replacement. And look what I found. There's RTV silicone on the front of this to serve as a gasket. It's full of a bunch of soot and black nonsense in there from the exhaust, which means this is a new used part, which means somebody bought this part, it didn't fix whatever they wanted it to fix, and then they put it back in the box, and then I ended up buying it. Now I've got to send it back because we were trying to get this O2 sensor plug out of it, and somebody has boogered the threads up on that, and that little plug does not come out of the exhaust, so I can't even use this piece even if I wanted to. Now I'm still going to put a converter in it because this one has no core. It's got converter performance codes, and they wanted the codes fixed, and that I cannot install. I'll go to jail or receive a hefty fine from the EPA if I am known to put emissions deleted components on vehicles. So yeah, this is bad to worse. So I got a car here that was hacked together, run into and wrecked, not repaired properly. I did miss the kink in the hose thing in the back, or in the pipe. That's acceptable. I earned that one. I did miss that. But my strategy for my diag was still right. However, I did not expect to find this right here. So some hack guy has caused these problems now, and on top of it, there's the problem with the exhaust. So now I gotta call parts store back, get another exhaust, wherever that's at, get that thing here. Now I've got to call the customer back, get more authorization to buy more parts, and in the meantime, I've got a car sitting here taking up a lift because of factors outside of my control. This is the stress of the business, you guys. This is why we do not like it when you buy your own parts, and we don't like it when you help us do the work. Look, there's more silicone on the water pump. Yeah, whoever worked on this last has no business working on cars whatsoever. That requires a new gasket, not a boatload of RTV. You guys got to do better than this. And the reality is I bet you that the lady that owns this car does not know that the collision was fixed improperly, or this was a buy here, pay here deal, and this was an auction car, meaning they could have repaired the damage and then sold this on their lot to an unsuspecting buyer, because it looks pretty good from the backside, I'd say. I mean, it looks decent from the front side too, but down here, nobody would have ever noticed that unless you really dig deep. Now, like I said, I failed because we did not do an undercarriage inspection when I diagnosed this for the overheating. We did it on the flat stall, so that's how that was missed. I think my strategy was right, but a visual inspection would have prevented some of this. But the reality is the bad parts, people returning used parts and using parts as a way to diagnose things, destroying parts trying to fix something. You can't fix things by breaking things, folks. You can't do that. You got to fix things by fixing them. So whoever's been working on this, unbeknownst to the owner, they've been causing more trouble and damage to the car than they've done any good to the thing. So now I got to let my lady know that you have a wrecked vehicle. It's potentially not safe. I need more money for some more parts, and I've got to pick a fight with the parts store because they're not vetting their returns, and they didn't notice that that brand new return was covered in silicone, full of stripped threads, damaged, used, and returned. So it's the things like this that compile that make this business very, very hard to survive in. Let me know what you think about this video, this situation, in the comments section down below. Thank you guys for watching this short video about the treachery of automotive repair. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hit that like button, and if you have not done so, consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, and you get notifications if you click the little bell. That will let you know that I posted a new video. That way you do not miss out on any future content such as this. Thanks again for watching. See you guys later, one more time, in a video, in a Chevy Captiva, in a transmission.